Okay, so now we're going to talk about two other security measures that you'll likely be choosing from, especially as you're getting access to crypto exchanges and wallets and things of that nature. And that's Google two-factor authenticator and SMS. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, never use SMS. Okay. SMS is a system whereby if you're trying to access your account on an exchange, you'll input your cell phone number and it will send you a PIN code to your cell phone, okay? Like a little text message, an SMS message. And you'll have to input that PIN code into the exchange to open your account. Why is this a problem? Because it sounds pretty good, but it's not. Because what is known to happen, and has happened to me, is you can get what is called SIM ported. And what happens is, whether there's somebody that works on the inside of a phone company or not, okay, I don't know exactly how they're pulling these off, but they're still doing them. You can look up Michael Turpin sues AT&T. You can Google that, and that'll give you an idea, because this happened to him. It happened to me shortly after. And I did a whole video on it. Where I recorded the customer support representatives telling me that I was basically crazy for thinking it was possible, until I finally got somebody on the phone who said, yeah, this happened this morning, and so forth and so on, and obviously didn't get the memo to keep hush hush. So I recorded the whole thing, turned it into a YouTube video that's still up today. You can hear my panic and my emotion in that, let's just say. So this is one of the reasons why I'm spending more time on security with you than others might, because I know firsthand how big of a deal all this stuff is, and I'm not telling you this stuff to fill up time. Let's put it that way. So anyway, SMS is, if somebody were to SIM port you, they're ultimately calling the cell phone company and they're saying, hey, I want to change my phone number. I want to put my phone number onto another phone I just got. And so what happens is they transfer the phone number from your SIM card on your phone to another SIM card on their phone. And then once that's complete, they can go to your exchange account and they can log in and do all sorts of things. And then when it sends that SMS code, well, now it's going to your phone number on their phone. Ping, ping, ping. They put it in and they get access to your account. You don't want that. What you want is a Google Authenticator instead. So when you're given the option, I would highly encourage somebody to use Google Authenticator. You can get it on Android or iOS. And ultimately what happens is, it's very, very easy to use. I thought about turning this into a tutorial. I can, if you guys need me to, just let me know in a comment or something. But ultimately, you download the app. And when you're in the exchange and it says, would you like to set up Google two-factor? You click yes, and it'll give you a QR code. And you'll open up the Google Authenticator app and you'll click this little box down here. So you can see the little X and the pencil over here. You'll click that little X and it'll open up your camera. And with your camera, you're ultimately going to basically it's automatically going to focus itself on that QR code, and then boom, you're going to see a number pop up, and that number, like the 163612, that is going to be your code. Well, what happens is that changes like every 10 seconds. So if you do not have that authenticator app, you cannot access that account. And so, because it changes constantly, all right? I remember the first time I had seen something like this was when a relative, or actually it was a friend of mine, worked for Procter & Gamble, and they had these little keychains that basically did the same thing if they want access to whatever they had access to. And so that was a pretty big deal. And so that is the number one thing. Now, the other thing that I'm going to tell you is that you want to make backups of these QR codes. Now, this is something I never see, and this is something that I've always done, is especially if you're going to be trading large sums. Maybe this is a little extreme for some people, but ultimately you want to write down the backups that you're given, because you're going to get a little backup key. You want to write that down. Make sure you label what website it's for, okay? And then I always take a picture of that QR code, and I take a picture of that QR code on a device like an iPod that never touches the internet ever, and it sits in a safety deposit box, and I don't touch it, and that's it. It's a backup for all accounts in case something should go wrong, because sometimes what will happen is your phone or your device. If your battery starts to wear down or it starts to get a little weird, you might realize that your authenticator app doesn't work, and you're like, oh my gosh, this doesn't work anymore. What's going on? Well, it's more likely that your battery is running low and the time clock in your phone or your device is not keeping up to date properly, at which point you need to resync your time and then try your Google Authenticator code again, and then it should work. Nobody ever talks about these things. It drives me insane. I've had to learn all this stuff myself the hard way. So hopefully this helps you moving in the future. But yeah, Google Authenticator is primo, and so is having a YubiKey. I would always stay away from SMS because it never seems to create anything but trouble. And as a matter of fact, a lot of exchanges are starting to discontinue use of SMS for that same reason.